last half an hour, 40 minutes, where, and not specific players, but the defenders in particular, when they could have brought it down on the chest and showed a bit of composure and popped it into midfield, they were like heading it and letting it become a fight, or they were kicking out for a corner, or they were kicking out for a throw-in. So there's a little bit of a demonstration in the last half an hour from the defenders in particular that they were sort of, if you like, doing things that were a little bit more rash, lacking in a little bit of composure. And then the other thing was that West Ham finished the game with more energy. Arsenal had a full week to prepare for that game, so there are a couple of little things that you could look at, but I still say it, they're going to go 7 points clear if they beat Southampton on Friday night, and then they've got the game of their lives, and they just need to focus on that.
Let's have a look at how it looks between these two sides in this run-in. They are running out of games, as Roy's saying, but it is Arsenal next because Manchester City are involved in the FA Cup semi-final against Sheffield United. They've also got Champions League games to contend with in the meantime. You would imagine, Roy, that Arsenal go and beat Southampton, given the relative form of the teams. And we don't know what's going to happen between Manchester City and Arsenal when they meet. But look beyond that. And whose shoes would you rather be in terms of the games that they have left?
Well, I'd rather be still in the Manchester City dressing room. With the experience I've got, the manager, they've been on this road many times before. We know they can go on runs of winning loads of games. They have that composure, the experience. And you said, well, you'd automatically expect them to be Southampton when they were 2-0 up to their Arsenal. You thought they'd win 3 or 4. So it doesn't work out that way. And it's always a dangerous game to be looking too far ahead. But I'd still rather be in Manchester City's shoes.
Jimmy?
Me as well. I think when you are Man City, when you're under pressure, they perform. They perform, they get the job done, and they can go the season through with keep on winning, and Arsenal still has to go to Newcastle. That for me is the game, Man City and Newcastle, and I can see Man City keep on winning.
But this title race always started at Anfield last week. It always did. If you looked at the fixtures, they've got obviously Liverpool, they've got obviously West Ham away. They've had those 2 games now. They've dropped points in those 2 games, but they've got Newcastle away, City away, Chelsea at home, and Brighton at home, who's going to be difficult as well. So they've got really tough games. It always started in this period. But if you said to Arsenal at the start of the season, this is where we'll be, they'd just snap your hand off, wouldn't you? You just said, absolutely, we'll take this position. So it's not a time for them now.
How painful if they were to let it slip from this point.
Look, Arsenal finishing second would still be an unbelievable season.
That wouldn't be, Gary.
Well, not now anymore. No, Gary, not now anymore. No.
They've gone from 5th.
Yeah.
They've gone from
land, man. No
They've
chance.
gone from 5th. Right?
It doesn't matter. They've got 7 points
You've been
clear.
top of the table all season.
I know, but you can't say just because they've got young players. I can't say because I thought they would drop points on the running, and it's now starting to happen. But they could still get over the line.
But we don't know what's going to happen next year. Everybody is going to get stronger. Everybody is going to get better.
Jimmy,
they might not be in this position again.
Second wouldn't be a successful season.
I'm not saying that they won't be disappointed and they won't be absolutely heartbroken by it, but I still would look at it as an outsider who's not an Arsenal fan and say it's been a terrible season if they finish second.
No, it's not a terrible season, but they will have given it away.
It would be a terrible season if they finish second.
Why would it be a disaster?
Sorry, Roy, why would it be a terrible season?
Empty-handed. They're out of all the cup competitions. You're thinking, obviously, no one, of course, I appreciate no one at the start of the season said Arsenal would be competing to win the league title. But the fact that the position they got themselves, the recruitment was good. They had a great start to the season. Remember, 2-0 up last week. They were 2-0 up today. So these are huge moments. So I think if they didn't go on to win,
it's there. It's there
to
be
go on to win
grabbed.
the league. It's a huge disappointment.
You can smell it. You can smell it for not to get it. It's too harsh.
But what's happening now was always going to come. They were always going to lose their legs a little bit. They were always going to lose their energy. They were always going to make mistakes.
But still, you get to the finish line. Still, you get to the finish. It's going to be difficult, but still, you get the job done.
You were saying a few weeks ago they've got no distractions. So Arsenal have no distractions. So this is. Let's go for the league title. We're now saying
they don't play
the
in
squad.
Europe.
They looked tired at the end. They were hanging in there against Liverpool last week. That's not a great message to say, listen, they're up for the fight and they're enjoying it. It's obviously playing tricks in their heads now, and they're lacking that. Certainly, the word we always use with Man City and Arsenal lacking it in the last week or two is that composure, particularly when they got in winning positions, which can happen.
But then also you're looking at they've drawn a game against West Ham that they were winning 2-0. If they lose away at Newcastle, you would think, okay, but they have lost 2 points at West Ham. That will hurt. That will hurt more than that you lose at Man City at away. today you're not allowed to lose points.
I didn't expect
If you want to,
no.
you want to win the league.
I didn't expect them to drop points today at all. Honestly, didn't. I just thought the football would be too bright. West Ham played on Thursday night. I didn't think. And when the game was 25 minutes in, that was a wobble today. There's no doubt about that. But you're always going to have a wobble on your way into your first title. When Blackburn beat us for the first title in '95, there were many wobbles on the way in that they had, and they got over the line. They stumbled over the line, and they might get their Arsenal through that way.
But it's also self-inflicted, eh? It's also self-inflicted.
But the argument what happens is
West
if
Ham
they
was-
don't win it, they can still go on and win it. They're still in an absolutely fantastic position if they just keep their heads and, again, a bit of composure. But the question was, if they were to finish second, huge disappointment for Arsenal.
It'd be disappointment, but Jimmy said it was a disaster.
Disaster.
It's not a disaster.
You've been leading the whole way through. You've been leading.
I don't think it's a disaster.
To give it away in the last 3 matches, it's a disaster.
No,
Doesn't matter.
I think Jonathan. I tell you
It
what,
doesn't matter if you
Jimmy, if I
at
was
the beginning of the season, we're not going to be number one. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You've been number one the whole season too.
Jimmy, if I was Manchester City's players and I didn't win the league with Haaland up front scoring 50-odd goals and Grealish and Mahrez, I'd think that was a disaster if I was Manchester City.
Gary, he
No
made
whatsoever.
sacrifices. The Arsenal made sacrifices, basically playing weakened teams to go out of all the other cup competitions. So this is their whole focus has been the last few months is the league, because they've gotten themselves in an unbelievable position because they started so well. Players came in, they recruited well in January. So from the slip up now. We're talking about Arsenal football. Arsenal's a big football club, by the way.
Look, last season, to be fair, they struggled to get over the line to finish in the top four. The same players, a lot of them are still there. It wouldn't surprise me if they struggled to get over the line to win a title. And if they didn't do, I would almost half
that doesn't
expect
make
that.
it right. That doesn't
But when
make
they
it
slipped
right.
up, but when they slipped up last
expect
year,
it.
Gary,
but
when
that
they slipped
doesn't
up
make it
last year,
right.
everyone said it was a huge setback.
Oh, but that was a huge setback.
And this wouldn't be.
This is the same.
And this
No,
wouldn't
but
be.
Arsenal not to finish in the top four is a different thing than Arsenal not
No,
winning the
no,
league.
if you look at the position they were in, they had it. They had it wrapped up in the top four.
Well, listen,
so they've got
it's-
previous.
It's not done yet, and Arsenal could still win the